Hi, I'm Twinka Tyson, your wellness influencer, and I am dedicated to sharing with you information that can help you to live a happier and a healthier lifestyle. Tune in to Twinka Talks. You never know what exciting topics I'll be exploring, but I can promise you they will always be intriguing. Hey, welcome back. I'm so glad you decided to join me. Today I'm going to be talking about a book by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep. Matthew Walker is one of the world's leading neuroscientists and a sleep expert. He's a professor at UC Berkeley and a former professor at Harvard University. He has spent decades studying why we sleep and how to unlock the power of sleep and dreams. I want to start by sharing with you a rather serious quote that I read from his book. He says 2/3 of the world's adults throughout all developed nations fail to obtain the recommended 8 hours of nightly sleep. I doubt you're surprised by this fact, he says, but you may be surprised by the consequences. Routinely sleeping less than 6 or 7 hours a night demolishes your immune system and more than doubles your risk of cancer. That's Matthew Walker, the neuroscientist and sleep expert, saying that. So we all know for years we have heard about a balanced diet and about exercise and how important they are. There's no doubt that that's true. But now what Matthew Walker is helping us to see is that sleep is part of that health trinity. So it's diet, exercise, and sleep that are so important, the three of them together. And he says that the physical and mental impairments caused by one night of bad sleep dwarf those caused by the equivalent absence of food or exercise. So how's your sleep? I know mine, I've been tracking for a while, and I'm shocked to see probably how many years I've been not getting a good night's sleep. So based on his scientific understanding of sleep, we no longer have to ask ourselves what sleep is good for, but now we're forced to wonder whether or not all biological functions do not benefit from a good night's sleep. And so far, the results of thousands of studies show that sleep is so vitally important. And some of the information that is emerging from all of this research is this very important message. Sleep is the single most effective thing that we can do to reset our brain and our body health each day. So Mother Nature knew what she was doing whenever she created this sleep that we so much need. It's actually, Matthew says, contra death. And I think we all want to avoid anything that would lead to that as much as we can. So the problem here is that the research has been there, but we are not being fed that information. The public is not really aware of it. And that's why I'm taking my opportunity here to share this information with you. So before we go any further, I know that there's people out there who say, I just don't need that many hours of sleep. I talk to you. I know. I hear you say that. And so I have Matthew Walker, the sleep expert's answer to that. He says that those of you who think you can get by on less than 7 to 9 hours of sleep, the odds of that being the case are very unlikely. He says there is far more likely that you would get struck by lightning, and the lifetime odds of that is 1 in 12,000. So if you think that you're truly capable of surviving on insufficient sleep, it would be very rare for you to have a special gene that caused you to not need as much sleep as everybody else does. He goes on to say that the consequences of chronic sleep deprivation is actually devastating. It dramatically increases the odds of having everything from mood disorders to cancer. and everything in between there that none of us want. So let's move on from those statistics and actually talk about something kind of fun. Did you know that worms sleep? I did not know that. I was very intrigued by that. But yes, they do. And so that helps us to see that sleep has been around for at least 5 million years, because worms have been around for a long time, I guess. That's what the book says. Even aquatic animals sleep. They have to swim all day, every day from birth to death, but they actually sleep with half their brain, and the other half is functioning while they're asleep. And then also birds sleep. And he tells us in this book that when birds are alone, they sleep with one eye open and one eye closed. And he says the interesting thing is that that causes half their brain to sleep and allows the other half to stay awake. But have you ever seen all the birds on the power line? The research shows that when there's a bunch of birds together, the ones on each end sleep with one eye closed. The one that's, not the one that they have to look out for. The birds in the middle get to close both their eyes. And then halfway through the sleep cycle, the birds turn and they close the other eye so that they can continue to sleep, but with a different side of their brain. Isn't that interesting? I just find little facts like that so fun. So, how does that relate to us? If it's that important for the worms and the aquatic animals and the birds, it's certainly important to us. But have you ever wondered why you don't get a good night's sleep whenever you stay in a hotel the first night you're there? Well, it's because our brains are sleeping a little bit lighter. One half of our brain is, so that our other half can stand on guard in a situation where we're not normally comfortable, where we don't feel completely safe. And I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, that would explain that whenever I'm traveling, working, and I'm sleeping in a different hotel every night, that I'd never feel rested whenever I wake up. So those are just some interesting facts for you. So many individuals fail to recognize that they're living in a permanent state of sleep deprivation. And unfortunately, that sleep deprivation is just a slow accumulation of bad health. So based on studies about the average sleep time, millions of people are unwittingly spending years of their life in suboptimal state of psychological and physiological functioning, because they're never maximizing the potential of their mind or their body, because they are chronically sleep deprived. So 60 years of study and research prevent anyone from saying that they can get by on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. That's the statement that Matthew Walker says. So he also says that people are failing to make the connection. I'm telling you, I'm one of them, of that 30, 60, or 90 minutes that you may lay in front of the TV whenever you're going to bed, or looking at your cell phone in your hand. The blue light from the cell phone, the iPad, the TV are actually causing us not to get into that deep sleep that we need for our bodies to do the healing that it needs for the night. So that's just a little choice. That's a simple little thing that you could do to help yourself to sleep better, is turn off the blue lights before you go to bed, an hour, 2 hours before you go to bed, so that your body can naturally begin to release melatonin so that you can get a good night's sleep. And he says that way too many people aren't making the connection between their failure to hit the basic minimum sleep, and they're now accepting suboptimal baseline as what they feel they need. So here's what he says. You do not know how sleep deprived you are when you are sleep deprived. So are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting the recommended 8 hours of sleep every night? I know I wasn't. So this is all news to me. This is all new stuff that I've been working on for about maybe the last 6 months. And he says to us, if you're not getting that much sleep, it's time to wake up. Make the connection. Commit to bumping up your baseline of how much sleep you get, and just find out how great you can really feel, how great you can really look if you are getting a great night's sleep. So I'm going to stop with that for today, but I am going to continue this conversation with you because I know from all this research, things like our health, our weight, our mood are all affected by how much sleep we're getting or not getting. So thank you for joining me here today for Twinka Talks. If you're interested in what I use to help me sleep and what I'm using to track my sleep, I'd be happy to share that with you. Just reach out to me and I'll tell you all about that. But please do stay tuned for the next Twinka Talks, where I'm going to continue this conversation about sleep habits. And also watch for a Twinka Talks, which is going to be on site at the Shift Massage and Float Club in Orange City with the owner, Kim Nielsen. She's going to talk to us about the sensory deprivation tank and how that can help us to restore some of the sleep that we're losing whenever we are not going to bed on time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.